I always like to say that our next speaker requires no introduction in the world of ambulatory joint replacement, famous for the 12 by 12 style of hyper efficiency. Dr. Charlie DeCook from Atlanta is really a true pioneer in what hyper efficient ambulatory surgery center can look like, and his development and utilization of technology across the board, not just in surgery centers, but across orthopedics, is something that needs no real introduction. So just a big honor for us to have Charlie with us today. And he's going to talk to us a little bit about sort of his thoughts on some of the most beneficial applications and technologies that we can use in our ASC programs.
Awesome. Thanks, Dr. Ask. Good to be with everyone today. Dr. Kreutzer, congratulations on a great conference here. We'll just jump into it. So I'm going to give the next 7 to 8 minutes talking about achieving true ASC efficiency with new technologies. These are my disclosures. Hopefully this works. Perfect. Great. This is our center. So we are in Atlanta, Georgia. We have 2 centers, about to be a third, and we have, I like that term, Dr. Ass, hyper efficiency. We've achieved hyper efficiency in total joint arthroplasty. This is our group here. But most importantly, we're doing lots of joints, and we're able to attract total joint surgeons around the country because we offer a unique product. And that product is a total joint only ASC. That has a lot of appeal to us joint surgeons who just want to do arthroplasty surgeries. And it offers us appeal because we can innovate, we can bring technologies to them to help them make them be more efficient. Please, slides will start working here. What is efficiency? It's really executing a task by reducing wasting time or energy. That's the most important thing. And clearly, as Caitlin said with SCA and their 314 ASCs, it's very important. In order for you to become the partner of choice, you have to be able to reduce those waste in your ASC. Obviously, there's financial waste, but there's also time waste going on, and there's energy waste. And efficiency is all about reducing those overall wastes. Remember, our goal is always our patient outcome, and much more so than anything about efficiency. In fact, efficiency is really just a byproduct of you trying to take care of your patients. Efficiency just comes along as a natural byproduct. The problem is our operating rooms have been totally archaic, and they continue to be archaic. And, if you look at this film, this picture from 1918, same thing applies here today. The communication in which we talk to our patients, in which we talk to staff members, our operations. And frankly, a lot of surgeons are frustrated with this because of the lack of technology, and it's become a very frustrating thing for us to do. So what I want to do is talk about how we've incorporated technology into our ASC to become more efficient. And obviously, if I ask any joint arthroplasty surgeon, okay, where can I be most efficient? The obvious answer is, and the winner is ASC every time. But now we have to take ASCs to the next level. And how are we going to take ASCs to the next level? So if I give you an example of 3 ASCs around the country, and I don't invest any money into technology that improves my efficiency, then these are going to be the results. We're going to have results that unfortunately mean that our surgeons aren't as effective. So if I can do 12 joints in an ASC in a day versus 4, I'm going to go every single time to ASC number 3. And why is that? That becomes the winner because I get to be more efficient. I get to spend better use of my time and better use of the ASC's time if you devote the time and effort to investing in those technologies. And when you invest in those technologies, I can attract the best joint surgeons, and I can do more cases in that center per year as a result of investing in those technologies. Let's see if we can get this to advance here. And so our goal was to fundamentally change how our OR functions. And how do we do that? So I'm anxious to share with you how that happens. So we believe fundamentally the technology drives it. And we incorporated a new technology called Ospitec, which has been a game changer for us. And it has really automated that patient journey throughout. And the other thing it's provided us is radical time transparency. And I'm going to go through both of those today and why I think that's so important to make your ASCs efficient and really adopting this principles. So obviously some of the core manufacturing principles we can carry to our operating rooms and our ASCs. Those are drum buffer rope theory, just-in-time principles, Parkinson's law. We're going to go through a few of those and how Ospitec has helped me to do that. So this is the first one, which is drum buffer rope. Not a lot of people have heard of this theory, but it fundamentally beats a drum of getting patients in and out of my ASC. And why is that so important? It's so important because this is an individual patient journey, but this patient journey happens the same way in every ASC around the country. And Ospitec works as that drum to keep that drum beating in my ASC to keep things going. And it's done with actually not RFID now, it's now Bluetooth technology, but that drum beats and I can automate that process of when they get to the waiting room, when they get to holding, when they go to the OR, and when they go to PACU, and when they go to the car. And if I know where that person is along that patient journey, I can automate each one of those processes and decrease the time. So that drum beat happens and I keep our patients on time, keep our ORs on time, and allows us to do more. So that's the basic principle of buffer rope theory. And if patients are late or if the OR is late, it's because you're not autonomous and you're missing all these signals that are so, so important. This just happens to be my OR. On the left is when I'm operating, but most important fundamental principle of efficiency is what's happening when you're doing something else, right? So on the board, I've got a video of my other operating room they operate in. I've got Ospitec, and I've got one team that's telling me different important information, and I know exactly where my patients are in that patient journey throughout the case. That's so fundamentally important to me. So part of Ospitec is a new program called One Team, which tells the scrub tech what the next procedure is in that case. So if that scrub tech knows that my individual surgery has this next 3 steps, they're aware of what's going on. They're fundamentally ready for that so I can improve my overall OR efficiency. Autonomous steps are critical, obviously, not just in cars, but it's definitely autonomous in this patient journey. If I make sure that every person that interacts with that patient is automatically informed when that next step occurs, that's when I can achieve true efficiency in my operating room. This is just a screenshot of what we can see. So I can see each patient, how long they've been in each step in that process. And guess what? If I know how long they've been in a PACU, I know how I can improve my PACU times. If I know how long it takes them in the waiting area, I can improve my net scores much higher because I can improve that patient experience by knowing that information. And we're going to keep going through. Obviously, Henry Ford figured this out a long, long time ago. And he figured out that moving the work from one worker to the next is really where you achieve true OR efficiency. And that's what this program, this new technology called Ospitec, allows us to do. Now, what is radical time transparency? Well, radical time transparency means this. It means that I know every surgeon in my surgery center, how long it takes them to do an operation. So this is our average OR time from cut to closed of all our total joints. All 2,300 joints we did last year, the average surgical time was 43 minutes. This is a picture of my fellow that had finished that particular total hip in 18 minutes. If I make time transparent in my operating room, if I make it transparent for my staff, then we have the ability to change and to improve. If you never pay attention to time, then it no longer becomes radical or has the ability to make a difference. So this is my average time from in room. I take 2 hours and 9 minutes in our surgery center to get patients from the recovery room out the door, right? And we work hard to change our anesthesia protocols in order to improve those times every year. But if you are not checking those times, if those aren't radically transparent and available to you, then you're never going to change those, right? So if you don't know your data, then you will never improve. So knowing your data is going to be the most important thing to really improve the efficiency of your ASC. Of course, we all know Parkinson's law is work expands to fill the time allotted to it. So that principle certainly goes into fact with opening a case. If it takes someone on average 40 minutes to open a case, that's how long it will be. If the expectation is 20 minutes, that's how long it will be. Parkinson's law makes sense. And the more important thing is that if you have radical time transparency, you can change what used to take 40 minutes down to 10 minutes, or what used to take 30 minutes down to 5 minutes by having time transparent in your operating room. This has been a fundamental difference as we start to look at individual surgeons, scrub techs, circulators, overall OR teams. We know of that time transparency because Ospitec has now given us this time transparency. And I think you get the idea there. We're trying to bust. This is just some metrics that I get every month sent to me to better understand how we can improve our overall OR efficiency. This is just some screenshots of those. That principle of just in time is so critical because I need to deliver a certain service at a certain time. So if you look at our operating rooms, what's brilliant about our ORs is that we get people coming in at the exactly right time, whether that's to move a patient, whether that's to turn over a case, whether that's to help in the PACU. That time is transparent to everyone, and I can deliver just in time the right number of employees to the right room in order to make that happen just in time. These principles are fundamental. And remember that every one of these moments we have a ripple effect. And if you're seeing these things happen and it breaks down, that ends up being a problem in your ORs. And that's when you start to lose the efficiency. That's why you end up being in the OR at 7 o'clock at night and not home by 3 o'clock because of that. Everyone has to be rowing in order. And with these low frequency, with this low battery Bluetooth technology with Ospitec, we're able to keep track of each patient. If you look in your OR room and you see that that OR room is empty, there's something wrong with your ASC. There should never be an empty OR room. There should always be someone in there moving and going, whether that's a patient or not. And one of the most important principles of achieving true efficiency is this principle of not trying to eat the whole whale all at once, right? That principle of marginal improvements is really critical. This is a great, this is the British cycling team. And at the time of when David Brailsford took over the British cycling team, they had not won in a long, long time. In fact, they were a loser cycling organization. And what Dr. Brailsford brought to the table was this concept of marginal improvements aggregate over time. So it's often frustrating in your ORs, especially in your ASCs, when you're not achieving true time transparency. And part of the problem is because you're trying to take on too much at once. The principle here is that when you have individual time metrics, we have the ability to improve one little process that's happening. And if you improve one little process that's happening, you can improve the entire process. And that's what David Brailsford did with the British cycling team. So he broke down everything with the bike. He broke down, how do I improve these athletes in just minuscule amounts? How do I improve their times? And he looked at everything from where they slept at night to what massage oils they were using to every little fine detail of what was happening. And when he did that, he got unbelievable results. See, they won 6 Tour de France. They're by far the best cycling team on the planet now. And they did that by looking at each individual process along the way. If you can improve each process, then you can improve the overall time that you're taking. So our process in our surgery centers are quite simple. We look at each individual process and break that down into individual actions. And the only way to break it down in individual actions is if you're really looking closely at it. Remember, there's not one defining problem to improve that efficiency. And Dr. Ass, I think with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you, and certainly happy to answer any questions during the discussion.